All right, let's do, why is that not working? Let's go back down to here. Let's move this up. All right, we're gonna take this online with YouTube right now, and we'll see. Let us do it. That sure would be nice. We will save it. All right, we're gonna let this kick up live on YouTube, folks. I left this link open for people that might want to join the meeting. And so kind of like a VIP room, even though people are just getting started. And let me bring this back to reality a little bit here. Meetings being live streamed. Good, good, good. All right, everything is matching. So for folks that might be watching the replay on this is a Vaxpreneur presentation. Vaxpreneur is a project that we started because not focusing on the politics of it, but focusing on the people. What are all these people going to do? There are people leaving their jobs, a mass exodus, right? People are calling it the Great Resignation. So the Great Resignation, great. Okay, so I quit. Now what? Why are people quitting? Well, some people are quitting because they don't want to, submit themselves to the experimental vaccine. Government workers, for example, healthcare workers, firemen, police. A lot of people are saying, hey, look, I'm not anti-vax. I'm just not taking an experiment. Like I'm not going to contribute to this. And there's a lot of people that understand that. And there's a lot of people that don't. So without going too far down any specific pathway of politics, let's just say that Vaxpreneur was created not because of the politics, but because of the people. What are the people going to do? Now, I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur. My name is Kurt Von Onen. I own a little thing called Mañana No Más. Mañana No Más was born in the early 2000s, 2006, 2007, in New Mexico. So I used to live in Albuquerque, and I had a lot of customers that were Hispanic, and I helped a lot of people with upstarts, getting their business established, like a fresh salsa company or a cookie company. Oh man, I remember Tio Frank's green chili. Man, that stuff was awesome. So I digress. Anyway, I was thinking of those companies that we helped. Well, some people would show up, they would have a meeting with me, a discovery meeting, and we'd say, okay, these are the steps we're going to take to launch your business. So let's meet again in 2 weeks, and you're going to have this, and this ready, and I'll have this, and this ready. And then we'd meet in 2 weeks, and I would have all my stuff ready to say, okay, here's how we're going to start to launch your business. Now just give me those assets that you were supposed to come to the meeting with. And they wouldn't have it. A lot of them didn't have it. And so one day I kind of lost my cool, and I said, man, mañana no más. You got to be vested in your own success. If you're not invested in your own success, how can I help you succeed? Mañana no más. You cannot put off until tomorrow what you need to do today. And one of the people that worked in that center said, man, that would be a good idea for a business. That's a good name for a business. And so the next day I reserved the name, and we've been Mañana no más ever since. I love the name. I love the messaging. It encapsulates what I do really, really well. I'm known for getting things done. I'm known for getting things done on the calendar and under budget, right? So getting things done on time and under budget. Now, what's cool about that is you also bring quality to the table, and through teamwork and through other specialists, and things can really begin to take a shape that is impressive. So when I said, hey, how can I help people? Again, not politics, people. How can I help people? People are going to be unemployed by surprise through decisions that they make regarding the vaccine. So I thought Vaxpreneur. This is like the hesitant entrepreneur, somebody that maybe you weren't thinking you'd own your own business. Maybe you were thinking you'd be in healthcare for the next 25 years. Maybe you were thinking, you would be a peace officer for the next 25 years. And now you find yourself all of a sudden going, oh, crap, what next? What am I going to do? I got a family. I got to feed my family. I got to put something together, and I got to put something together quick. So, you know, whether you follow Dave Ramsey or you're on the other side of the coin and you're chasing Grant Cardone looking at investments, no matter who you might follow regarding your finances, there's an assumption that a lot of people just, you know, are well prepared, especially professionals, right? That like you're well prepared. Well, COVID really showed that people were not. You know, anecdotally, I have friends that worked at, you know, food shelter things, you know, food banks and things like that. And they would talk about, you know, oh my goodness, you should see it, dude. I mean, you know, people rolling up to a food bank in a G-Wagon to get a free bag of groceries. And a lot of people can't identify with that. A lot of people would say, oh, no, that wouldn't happen. It does happen. What are you going to do, right? You may have financed that car, financed your house, financed a Harley Davidson, financed, you know, your kids' college, you finance all these things. You're making $300,000 a year and everything seems great. And then all of a sudden, boom, the business closes, the opportunity closes. And when we talk about some of these government positions or healthcare, firemen or policemen, and we talk about them, that's their skill set. That's what they've already invested in to become. And then all of a sudden it's, hey, you get vaccinated or you don't work. And it's not like you can quit one department and go to the next department because they have the same rule. And so now we've got people that might not have intended to be self-employed. And folks, I'll wrap up this introduction pretty quickly to our topic today. I just wanted to give the background on why Vaxpreneur was established and why I think it's unique. I think it's unique because as this community grows, and that's what it's meant to be. So if you go to vaxpreneur.com and you start floating around looking at things, you'll see some blog posts, you'll see some vaccine news, you might see something about a business closing or something like that. It's not meant to be scary. It's meant to say, hey, you're not alone. And as people begin to join and get on the mail list and subscribe, and as it begins to grow, we're going to turn on some more tools. We're going to turn on, you know, tools inside the website that allow users of the site to communicate with each other and create a community feel, like a groups kind of experience where you can say, hey, you know, this is scary. Hey, I didn't plan on being an entrepreneur. I didn't plan on starting my own business. I didn't plan on, you didn't plan on a lot of things, but you're not alone, right? There's a lot of, I'm going to say marketing, propaganda, whatever, that is trying to get people to think that they're an anomaly, trying to get people to think that they're separate, trying to get people to think, you know, what am I going to do? I'm all alone in this thing. And you're not all alone in this thing. Now, here's the good news. The good news is I'm very sympathetic to your position and your cause, and I have experience in helping people with their startups. I also have a great network of professionals that I know with a phone call or an email or, you know, a quick chat, you know, with a quick chat on the smartphone would be willing to come in and do a session like this to focus on things. And here's what I started thinking about with Vaxpreneur. With Vaxpreneur, having reluctant entrepreneurs coming to the table, looking at their options and going, what's next? What do I do? I don't know what to do. You know, I look at guys like, and I'm going to throw some names out, okay? But I look at guys like Pedro Adao. Pedro Adao works on online challenges, and he's kind of like, you know, the guru for that. Now, I've created a tool for online challenges so that people can subscribe and use that tool. But when it comes to the mindset and the architecture and building an online challenge, Pedro Adao is your guy. Now, if you go to a Pedro Adao challenge or you go to a Pedro Adao event, if you're new to this whole thing of thinking about having a business of your own for the first time, it's right over your head, I'm sure. Russell Brunson, he is known as the ClickFunnels guy. So you'll hear, you know, if you're starting to look at self-employment, and you'll see some things about, you know, you got to build a funnel. You got to build a funnel. You have to have, you know, funnel this, funnel that, funnel the other thing. All a funnel is a series of communications that you pre-build to go to prospects to get them to take action. So a funnel is basically just a communication tool to get a customer or a prospect to take an action. Now, Russell Brunson did a really good job of building a platform that helps you do that helps you format it and get it to go. And, you know, once you sign into any of his events, you're going to hear about how he made a potato gun and sold this potato gun online, and, you know, boom, it was born. Such good coffee. So you're going to hear these names, but now when you sign into a Russell Brunson, 5-day challenge, he's going to start talking about conversions and clicks and setting up websites, and your mind is going to go, this is too much. I don't know what to do here. And I seriously thought about what was it like when Mañana No Mas was born, and I was dealing with customers that were brand new. And what were some of the things that people had said? What were some of the things that I remembered that I thought would add value to the conversation today? So let's do this. You're new to unemployment somehow, some way. Your company shut down. Your restaurant's no longer open. Whether you own the restaurant or you were the server at the restaurant or the busboy or the dishwasher, it doesn't matter, right? None of this matters. What matters is you lost your form of employment, and now you're going to have to invent something. You got to build something. I'm going to let you in. I'm going to be really transparent on something. I say I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I'm also married with 2 kids. And being married to 2 kids has responsibility, right? I have to keep the earning up. So even though I'm a creative person and I'm a serial entrepreneur and I love to build new entities, I still have to earn. And so I was corporately employed until 2020. In 2020, before COVID, my company did some downsizing. I worked with Suzuki. They downsized, and they let go like 6 of us managers all on the same day. It was like, oh, okay, I guess you guys are serious about cutting something. And so, and I didn't take it personal, because obviously it wasn't personal, right? There's a handful of managers got let go on the same day. I was one of them. And, right out of the chute, I started apply for some other corporate positions, because I thought, I can always do this entrepreneur thing as a side hustle, but I got to stay consistent for the family. And I started putting out resumes, and I started making phone calls, and I started reaching out to headhunters. Folks, after 200, cover letters and applications and resumes, I'm still focused on what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And so that kind of tells you what that job market really is out there. And so if you're looking for another position, if you're looking for a way to have income from a corporate position, that's great. Keep that up. Don't turn that channel off. But I want to encourage you, get creative and start thinking, if I could do it on my own, if there's something I could do that I love doing, speaking as you, that I love doing, how would I do that? How would I get that started? How would I take that next step? How would I come up with something, right? And put some thought into it. And what we're going to discuss today is the very beginnings of those thoughts. Because like I said earlier, I feel there's a disconnect between people that are entrepreneurs and want to plug into successful things. Like, I'm already an entrepreneur. I've already had some experience in trying out new ideas and growing websites and stuff like that. And so when I see something like a Russell Brunson ClickFunnels presentation, I understand what he's talking about, and I get excited. And okay, I think I could do that. Or a lot of people go down this ClickBank thing where I'm just going to be an affiliate marketer. And you'll hear this term a lot, right? I'm going to be an affiliate marketer, and I'm going to sell everyone else's stuff and then just get a commission on the back end. I don't even have to worry about the customer service. Someone else is going to do it. Well, if you take a really hard look at affiliate marketing, you'll see that, you get a little piece when you bring traffic. Traffic is eyes on the internet, right? So when you bring a lot of people to see something, and some of those people make a purchase, not all, but some of those people make a purchase, you get a little snippet of profit out of that. And that's great, as long as you cover all of your expenses and your time and all of those things to do that, which can be pretty difficult. A lot of people, a lot of the ads or a lot of the webinars will make it sound like it's really, really simple. It's not really, really simple. Okay. The internet's a crowded place. And so if we think back, like, I've been making websites for over 20 years. So I think about when I first started making websites, or when I first started doing social media marketing for different people, like politicians and different companies. I would see great results. I could pull reports and go, hey, you're up to 90 96,000 hits, this week. You're up to 115,000, impressions and views this week. And I can remember having those conversations and looking at those reports and go, man, this is amazing. I can take something from the ground level and shoot it to the moon and boom, watch it go. Right. But now, things have really transformed. Now we have, influencers and YouTube marketers and all of these things and all these terms that you're going to hear, and you're going to be like, I want to go viral. Well, yeah, everybody wants to go viral, right? Because you heard that somewhere. You heard it on, 2020 or, Dateline NBC or something, right? You heard someone say, oh, this video went viral, right? And everybody saw it. And then you see the video and you go, oh, I remember seeing that. That's what viral means. Viral means popular. I want to be popular. That is magic sauce. You can make all kinds of great content, but it doesn't always mean it's going to go viral or that someone's going to see it. And so I want to stress, even with the affiliate marketing and stuff like that, you can build cool websites and links and things to different pages. But if you can't get the traffic, or if the traffic fails to arrive for the work that you've done, there won't be money behind it. Okay. And so there are things that you have to consider. So what I wanted to talk to you about today was the very, very beginning. So I wanted to, people say to me all the time, because I have a habit of being distracted. I'm like, if distraction was a profession, I'd be an expert. So Mañana No Mas is my parent company. Mañana No Mas, people say, what do you do? Well, I consider myself a business consultant, and I focus on communication, leadership, and pieces of technology that help me grow a business for another customer. So those are things, right? So that's a very simple phrase. When you think of an idea that you want to launch as a possible business, you want to be able to make sure that you could take the concept of that business and break it down like I just did. So if you were someone that was going to babysit people's pets, at your house, you want to be a critter sitter, you want to, work with Rover or your own critter sitter company or whatever. For those that don't know, rover.com is a service you can sign up for, and you can babysit people's pets. But bring them to your house, you charge them 30, 40 bucks a day, and you take care of their pet. It can be a really big business. So let's say that, you want to do that. And then you run into people, at the store, at Costco or whatever, and they say, oh, hey, Bob, what are you doing? Right. Well, you could say, well, I'm working with Rover and blah, blah, blah. Right. What's your blah, blah, blah going to be? Right. So maybe you change things a little bit and you say, well, hey, you know what? I left the corporate world and I converted my love for animals into a way to help other people take care of their pets. Now that drives interest, right? Marketing. So marketing is the conversation that happens before the sale, right? And so marketing has to happen before a sale. I should go this way, right? So on the screen, it looks like it's going the right way. So marketing has to happen before the sale. Okay. Sales over here. So marketing. So that would be awareness, right? Positioning, visibility, your messaging, right? Sales is like, hi, give me your credit card and I'll see you on Tuesday. So when you want to get people's interest, you want to pique their interest. So you want to phrase things in ways that get them to ask the next question. Well, how does that work? Or how did you do that? Or what made you do that? Or something along those lines, right? And so in the critter sitter example, I said, well, I chose to leave my corporate position and, pursue my passion for animals and help other people take care of their pets. How do you do that? Oh, I became a Rover provider. People can bring their animals right to my house. Sure, let me give you my link. Let me give you my, my phone number, my link, my tap them with the dot on the back of your phone if you've got the dot. And, there's all kinds of ways to make that happen. And these are all things that we will discuss in Vaxpreneur as we go further. But the main thing I wanted to cover today was, what is that original idea, that thing that's going to come to you? Now, if you're like me, you're going to get a lot of ideas, right? And so, like, I love bicycling. I love motorcycling. I like hiking. I like camping. I like being outside. I like shooting guns. So I started thinking about all these things. I love to cook. If you follow my social media, you'll see that I have a lot of pictures of me smoking meat on the grill, cooking, putting together. And we do Greek, Italian, Asian food, American food, Mexican. We do all kinds of food in my house, and my kids love to cook too. So a lot of times there's all this stuff going on. In fact, when I was younger and I would tell friends, hey, I'm going to start my own business, they'd be like, well, where's the restaurant going to be? Because they knew how much I love to cook and entertain people. But in the end, I never did open a restaurant, did I? No, because I focused on things that I thought I could find success with. And I knew about capitalization and risk and things like that. So I tried to stay away from those areas. So here's a couple of tools. In fact, I'll open up another screen and let me open up a program. I'm going to close this. Bear with me, folks. I am going to open up, and I want to make sure I don't open up into something that, I don't want to share, because that would be bad. But let's go into Kurt's notebook here. And I want to open it with OneNote. OneNote should open. There we go. Quick notes. Okay, I'm going to share this screen. Okay. And boom, let's go right into there. All right. So it's on my other screen. So you're going to see me turn and look kind of weird. Okay. But right here is what you have is take a look at Kurt's notebook. Okay. OneNote, if you use a Microsoft computer, OneNote is one of those things that that you can use, and you can put a ton of notes into this. And so there's quick notes. I have a don't forget thing. Goodreads. Goodreads is simply a list of books and things that I want to read. Here's the 4-Hour Work Week. I read this book, and here's the notes I took as I read the book. The 4-Hour Work Week, to me, I thought was a really, really good product. And so I took a lot of links and stuff out of that book and things that I use. In fact, I mentioned ClickBank earlier, and right there you can see where my mind was back when I made these notes. I have the ClickBank link right there, right? Mini retirement locations, right? So things about where I would consider retirement, right? 5 morning rituals that help, and I've got an article that I saved. And so OneNote is a great place to put your thoughts. Now, overcoming shitty decisions. What's that? Well, here's what I do. Here's another one, A Seat at the Edge. So A Seat at the Edge is a title of a book that I began to write and put together. Overcoming These Decisions is another idea for a book that I started to write and put together. Inspire. These are notes from my son's school. And so when I go to these different meetings and I go to these different things, here, if you take a look at this, Monterey Peninsula Power Sports, this is a company that I consult with, and then I have notes that I take when I am out with them. And if you take a look at this, look at all these notes that I have going down the side here. Now, pardon me, you're going to think I'm a little overboard, but there's a reason why I take these notes. Okay. The reason that I take these notes, and these are additional workbooks that I have, right? So I'll go into other companies here real quick. So Lifter LMS, ClickBank, MarineMax, JRC, John Maxwell, IMC, right? Notes from last year's IMC. So let's go here. Other companies. Let's say that I have an idea to start another company. Let's go with the dog sitting idea, right? So we would say Kurt's Puppy Sit. Okay, so I'm going to say Kurt's Puppy Sit, and I'm going to save that. Now, there's a reason why I put things in OneNote the way that I do. Do you see over here on the upper right-hand corner, it says search? There are people, and I've done this too, so I want to be completely transparent with you. Okay, I have tons of legal pads. I have copybooks. These are notes from different meetings that I've had with people. When I meet with people on Zoom, I generally take the note pen and paper. When I meet in a meeting somewhere in person, I generally take the notes in OneNote. When I take the notes in the copybook, what I do is I create, you saw that list of names, all those meetings. I take the notes, I take a picture of it, and I put it right in there. Okay, into OneNote. So I store everything digitally. And then when I want to search something, let's say I want to search, all the notebooks, I could say, puppy, right? And you saw right there, when I started the search out puppy, it went right to Kurt's Puppy Sit, right? And so let's say I've got 15 notebooks in this thing, and I want to find something on suicide prevention. Well, I could type in the search for suicide, and then any notes I took that reference the word suicide, those notebooks would pop up, and I'd be able to find them right away. So let me tell you why I use OneNote. And this is great for new entrepreneurs. So you're going to have a ton of ideas come up, right? So Kurt's puppy sitting, I'm going to put here dog watching, right? Okay, but let's say that I want to have different notes. I'm going to say that it's a home babysitting, right? Home babysitting. We could do house sitting, right? So I could say house sitting. We could do, think of all these other things, right? So dog walking, right? So I start thinking, you start walking out the idea. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I start putting in the idea here, right? So maybe I want to get into pet nutrition, right? Pet nutrition, training. And I just start taking these notes, and I start thinking about what that would look like. But in the middle of all that, I say, you know what? I think it would be better to make a website that teaches people that stuff, right? So then I say, okay, well, maybe I want to do a training website instead. Okay. Now remember, you're at the beginning of figuring out what do I want to do? What's my call? What am I going to do? Right. So in the training website, I say, okay, so what do I want to train on? Right. So let's say one of them could be having a dog sitting business. Right. Let's think about this. You've already put some time and thought into what it would be like to start a dog sitting business, because you're working those notes in another page. So maybe you're thinking, okay, I could have an online course on how to have a dog sitting business, or I could have an online course on, how to become an entrepreneur. Right. And I know that if you are new here and you're thinking that, you're thinking, well, how could I write a course on being an entrepreneur? I'm just trying to figure it out myself. Right. Remember, everybody has a course within them. You just have to figure out how you're going to say it. Everyone's got something they can share. Everyone's got some value to bring to the table. So don't discount yourself. What I do is I use OneNote to throw those ideas up against the wall and see what's going to stick, right? And so I can take that, and that's going to work. Now, here's why I like using the OneNote system. Again, the OneNote system allows me to separate things into notebooks, pages within the notebooks, or I should say sections. So I can have a notebook, I can have a section within that notebook, and then I can have pages within that section. Okay, so it allows me to break down my ideas as far as I need to go. And one of the things I like about Notebook is it's mine, right? It's something that I have control of. It's something that I use individually to flesh out ideas on my own. Another thing that people do, and I want to see if I can sign into this real quick. We're going to log in. The next step is, let's say you have an idea that you want to share with people. Okay. Please check your email to continue. Okay. Here's another thing about online tools. Every time you go to use an online tool, you generally get some kind of an update or something like that. And so let's move that up there. Action required, connect accounts, was migrated. Atlassian. Atlassian is this company that seems to own a lot of things. And every time I go to sign into one of these, it asks me to connect everything. And hopefully that's the right password. All right, so forget it. All right, we'll go a different way. When I take a look at communicating to myself, I do it in OneNote. When I look at communicating with others, with a team of people, there's two tools that I like to entertain with that. One is, and I think I can pull that up for you right now. And I'm going to change the account on it because I'm in somebody else's account. There we go. Let's see if I can share this screen with you. That would be, boom, there it is. All right. So what you'll see here is I've got this little window open, and this little window is Slack. Now, you may have heard about Slack before, but here is what makes Slack really, really interesting. Slack is like a private communications channel. So I work with the folks at Lifter LMS, their code box. This is their box. Here's an e-learning success summit that I had attended last year, and there's lots of great notes in there. Lifter LMS has a customer-based channel. That's this one. Mañana No Mas has a channel. So right now we're in the Mañana No Mas channel. And so you can see I've got different channels in here, right? General, random, one-on-one coaching, public speaking, all these things that people can join my Slack, and I can communicate with them kind of like not in a completely open way, like it's not on Facebook, but it's a way that is interactive, and we can text each other back and forth. And so I can have direct messages with people on my team. I can post something to a channel. So in direct messages, I can say, okay, here's a direct message. This is an example. Here's a direct message to myself, right? But I could direct message anyone that's in my channel, and it's a private two-way conversation. Or I can go up here to random, and I can post a message, direct in here. I could say, testing for Vaxpreneur, okay? And then anybody in the channel would get a notification that there's been an additional post to that random channel. And that's a way for a group of people to work on something. So if you're having entrepreneurial thoughts on growing your own thing, you can make notes in OneNote, and they're private. They're for you, right? And in OneNote, you can export things as PDFs and send them to people. And there's ways to share, pardon me, there's ways to share out of OneNote. But OneNote's really good for, at least for me, for fleshing out thoughts on my own. Now, here's what I do. Before I buy URLs, a URL is a website name, right? So before I buy a URL or think about where I'm going to host a website project, or before I let things spool out of control, I turn it off. So here's the magic of today's message. Have your thoughts. Write down all of your thoughts. Anything that you think is a distraction that could be a possibility, you write that down. You put it in OneNote, you put it in a Slack channel, you put it on a Trello board. Trello is a tool I was going to show you here a little while ago, but I got to connect my Atlassian account to it. Anyway, Trello is one of those tools where, again, you can share it with others. If you use it by yourself, it's a lot like OneNote. If you share it with others, it's a pretty powerful combination, because you have these activity cards. It's like a project management system. You can build these activity cards, and then you can move the activity cards along in the project, and you can assign them to other people and things like that. It helps you keep track of things. But anyway, you want to take all of your ideas and you want to input them into something. A copybook, a legal pad, a OneNote, a Slack, a Trello, something like that, and then turn it off. Let it sit. Let it sit for, it depends on the person, but for me, generally a week to 10 days, like a week to 10 days of just trying not to focus on it and doing life as normal, right? Taking care of other priorities, and then go back to it. Go back to your notes and start to look through your notes. Now, what I do in OneNote is periodically I sign into my OneNote and I look at, I'm going to go ahead and reduce that screen, and I'm going to go and open up, let's see, other companies. There we go. And I'll share the screen with you. Okay. So let's do this one. Okay. So we're in here with OneNote, and let's say that, whether it be other companies, family, Mañana No Mas Power Sports Edition, that this talks about all kinds of stuff, right? What I'll do is I'll go through these tabs and I'll say, okay, was that a valid concept? Is that something I can move forward with? Is that something that's going to have forward momentum? Or is that something I need to get rid of? And then I literally just, right click it, hit delete, and it's gone, right? And so what I'll do with a lot of the things that I have in OneNote is I'll make that list, go through the motions, do the effort, type it out, go back after a week or 10 days, take another look at that list and see what has stick, what has a punch? What has something that you think you can move forward with? And what seems superfluous or just unimportant? Because that's going to happen. Go ahead and delete them. What I do is I delete. I don't save it. I don't move it to another book. I don't, nothing like that. I just delete it. I don't need that distraction anymore. That's gone. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to talk about, and I want to look at our time. We're at 10:36 right now. So we've got a little bit of time. We're doing good. The very next thing I want to do is I want to think about, you have the concept. I'll give you an idea. Challenge connection. The challenge connection is one of Manana Nomas's highlight projects. I have two very good highlight projects outside of Vaxpreneur. One is called the Power Sport Academy, and one is called Challenge Connection. So let me tell you about Challenge Connection. Challenge Connection is when I saw people like Pedro Adao and Tony Robbins and other people doing challenges on Facebook. I started to look at other people doing challenges on Facebook too. Started looking at people like Andrew Eagleton, or looking at, I think Jake Ballantyne did a challenge once. And there were people doing challenges all over the place on Facebook. And I was kind of hooked on it. I was like, what's happening here? What are people doing? Why are people getting excited about this? And what it is you take something that has multiple processes and you put it into a 5-day, a 7-day, or a 10-day challenge, right? You advertise it on Facebook, or promote it on Facebook. Advertise is a tricky word. I don't want to use that too much in this circle. Okay. But I promote that I have this challenge. I get people to sign up into the challenge, and then I walk people through what could be a complicated process, but it's a step-by-step deal. So, today we're going to do this, and today we're going to do this, and today we're going to do this. And then you walk people through this. Now, a lot of them are like 10-day challenges, right? So it could be, how to get the most out of your keto diet, how to, improve your cornering speed on a bicycle. It could be anything. It could be how to train a dog. But what happens is that challenge typically would be hosted into Facebook, and then typically be hosted into Facebook. People would sign up for it, and then they would move themselves through the process. The person hosting that challenge, their job is to keep people motivated and to keep them moving within the challenge and keep them going. So when I would study these, I would say, man, they get confusing, because especially if people are in different time zones, somebody might be working on day 3's activity and someone else might be late to the game working on day 1's activities. And when people post to the Facebook page, it's a first in, first out file, and everything gets jarbled up and people get lost. And so I'd see 100 people join a challenge and maybe 5 or 7 people finish a challenge. And I thought to myself, as a challenge leader, that must be very frustrating. And I thought, well, how can I build a better mousetrap? So I came up with the idea for the Challenge Connection, but the Challenge Connection wasn't the original name. Okay. So this is important. Stick with me, folks. I know that it seems like we're dragging along, but we're only in for 40 minutes so far. And I'll have this finished up within the next 15 to 20, I promise. So when you first have your idea and you're using OneNote to take your notes, be broad in your scope. Don't be so pinpointed. Be broad. Like, what are you trying to help, right? A lot of people will say, find a problem, architect a solution, right? Find a want or a need, supply the want or the need. And so I was looking at these Facebook challenges and seeing this great marketing opportunity, but then also looking at, well, what's missing? What would make this better? How would people finish the challenge better? And then think about this. You've got all these people in your Facebook page doing this challenge, but outside of Facebook, how do you communicate with those people? How do you send them the next thing? And how do you monetize? How do you get so good at your challenges that you could charge people to take a challenge, right? They pay to take the challenge. And then, and Facebook's got, you could do a private Facebook group, and then they've got to, pay some third-party button. There's all these things you could put together to make that happen in Facebook. But I thought, what if I built a program? What if I built a platform that could manage the challenges, keep the challenges organized by activity? So here's activity 1, here's activity 2, here's activity 3. And whenever you are interacting within the activities, you're on that activities page. What if I could build a platform where the leader could monetize the challenge and take credit cards right through the challenge website? What if the person running the challenge could export a user list and then have access to those users for emails or texting or other communication sources. And then the other thing I thought was, if people are on LinkedIn, it's generally difficult to get people to go from a LinkedIn property to a Facebook property to do something. And conversely, it's difficult to get people to go from Facebook to LinkedIn. Now, a lot of people say that there's reasons why, but it's difficult nonetheless. It's easier to get people to go from LinkedIn to a third-party site, or from Facebook to a third-party site. Now, take that into consideration. Before, you were just marketing to Facebook, but now you have the ability to market to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, all of these things. And as you spread your net across all those social channels and you funnel them to your one place, now you've got much more control and a bigger audience to boot. So all these things were going through my head with Challenge Connection. Now, here's what's interesting. Even if you feel like you're alone, a reluctant entrepreneur coming to the party, you're not alone. I keep stressing this, right? I want you to know that you're not alone. I took my idea and I went to 5 or 6 different professionals that I know in the field of marketing, website development, e-learning platforms. And I said, hey, I got this idea, bam, bam, bam. Now, a couple of people said, oh, that's okay, or that's good, or that's awesome. Or, a couple of them said, we're looking for something to invest in. And, do you need an investment at this time? Now, when that question happened, no one had ever asked me that question before. So I was like, okay, I must be on to something. I must be on to something if everybody wants to participate. People want to play, right? But here's the deal. It could have been Facebook challenge offline, challenge FB, right? For Facebook. Could have been, because I was thinking Facebook as the target, right? And so I was like, but I don't want to be in a battle with Facebook for users. Like, the last thing I want to do is have this thing grow and then be in some argument with Facebook about something. And so I was trying to figure out, how am I going to market? How am I going to name this thing? Right. And then so we had a list of names. And then I took that list of names and I went URL shopping. Now, here's where I'm going to give you guys a caveat. Don't go URL shopping until you're ready to buy the URL that you want. I'm paranoid, so I'm just going to say it the way that I see it. If I start searching out, so basically I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type in challengefb.com and see if something comes up, right? Challenge Facebook offline, see if something comes up. And, if nothing comes up, then I'm going to go into, I prefer to use a company called Bluehost, bluehost.com. I like Bluehost because they're super, super affordable, and they give me unlimited emails with my URLs, which is something that I really appreciate. And once you get some experience in working online, you'll appreciate that too. So I go to Bluehost and I go to add a domain, buy a domain. And then I start, typing in my options, and I'll type in, challenge FB, Facebook challenge offline, Facebook challenge online, Facebook chat. I'm just trying all these different combinations. But in the end, I didn't want to focus on the Facebook name in my name, right? And so again, networking with others, right? Trying to get clarity in my mindset. I settled on, okay, what if I could get the challenge connection? Because I'm connecting the challenge from multiple channels is what I was thinking, right? So challenge connection. So we searched and the challenge connection was available. Now, it only costs like $25 to register a URL, and it's good for 2 years going through Bluehost. Again, I really like registering things through Bluehost. And I'll just say it, GoDaddy for me is not an option. Whenever I help one of my clients out and they have a GoDaddy account, I've actually considered charging a GoDaddy surcharge for having to work in the back end of a GoDaddy account. Like, working with the emails is a challenge. Redirecting the URL to a development site can be a challenge. Like, everything with GoDaddy seems to have obstacles. And I know that they built it that way for themselves for a reason, But to be on the developing side on the other end, it's quite the heartache. So I stress, I really like Bluehost for upstart projects. It's super, super affordable. And is there better hosting out there? Absolutely, there's better hosting. But you are talking about an upstart. You're talking about a startup. You're talking about, basically a proof of concept to see if you can get some momentum, right? So you don't want to spend $3,000 on hosting when you could spend $150 on hosting, right? So stick with me on this. You're just sampling. You're just testing the waters, right? So you get the name reserved. Now, again, don't go searching out URLs until you're ready to purchase a URL. My fear is that as I'm searching out URLs, engines out there, bots are seeing what you're trying to search or what you're trying to buy, and things all of a sudden start becoming harder to find. So when I first search something up, I grab it as soon as I have the chance. Okay. So I bought myself challengeconnection.com. So then I had notes in my OneNote talking about Challenge Connection, right? Talking about how I wanted to build a challenge, get people off of Facebook if they wanted off of Facebook. One of the things with Facebook when I built the Challenge Connection was people could have a challenge on Facebook. And then in their personal profile, they could say something about the vaccine or Dr. Fauci or something, right? And their account would get locked down. Well, when their account got locked down, they couldn't manage the challenge that they were running. And so you can see how that's obviously a huge obstacle, right? You've got hundreds of people in, trying to get excited about a project, and you're not even chiming in with anything for 2-3 days. And so having an offsite, something away from Facebook where you can still manage your challenge regardless of community guidelines, that to me was a huge selling point. So I wanted to make sure that I had that in there. So again, you get the basics of the idea, and you start to flesh out that idea, just making your own notes in something like OneNote. Then you go back and you review it a week or 10 days later, and you say, was that a real idea, or was that something that I'm never going to pursue, right? If you're never going to pursue it, just go ahead and delete it, clear that space, and make space available for the next good idea, okay? If it was a good idea, make some more notes, start to make an outline, start to drive down to the bottom of it. And then once you get a clear idea on what that idea is, and remember at the very beginning how you would know if you had a clear idea, like, can you say something in 60 seconds or less that explains what this thing is? Okay. So if you can explain your concept in 60 seconds or less, and people understand what you're talking about, chances are you're onto something. Okay. So you got this big outline that you've made, you drive it down to like a 60-second statement about what it is. And then you start to thinking about what you would name it. Okay. Once you understand what you would name it, then you try to get a URL for that. Okay. Go to Bluehost, register a new URL, buy that URL. And then here comes the kicker. Don't do anything. Don't do anything right away. I want you to take a moment, take a day or two, and kind of let yourself reset, recenter, go mountain biking, go to the beach, go for a hike, go on a date night. Take yourself out of that excitement for just a moment, and then start to think about, well, what are the next steps that I got to put into place to start to form something? Now, remember, I've used the term proof of concept a couple of times. This is new, right? You're new at it. The concept is new. And here's something for you. Even if you're duplicating something that someone else has already done, like the dog sitting thing, right? There's lots of dog sitters out there, but it's new to you. This is a new endeavor. This is a new thing. And so I really want to encourage you to slow it down, take some time, go over some of the finer points, right? And think about what it looks like for you to move forward and what it looks like to have that momentum. And then start thinking about what those next steps are going to look like. Now, I hope that you found some kind of value in what I've been able to share with you today, as Vaxpreneur is new. Vaxpreneur is meant to be a community. It's meant to give resources. And again, what I saw missing in the messaging, especially out to new entrepreneurs, is how do you even have an idea? Like, what happens when you have an idea? How do you log an idea? How do you track an idea? How do you, figure out if you want to develop an idea? And I really, really felt inclined to do this first session, this first seminar session with Vaxpreneur. I really felt like I wanted to cover that. You're not alone. Okay, you're not alone. All of these feelings you have of inadequacy or excitement, or it's all completely normal. And again, not alone. You're not an anomaly. You're not strange for wanting to look at doing things on your own. It's very, very important that you don't allow yourself to get awash in too many distractions or too many options. That's why I wanted to focus on, like, what are the tools? So for me, the first tool I want to talk about was the OneNote, right? And then if you have other people that you're working with, maybe you build it into Slack or into a Trello board instead. If you guys have any questions about what Trello is or how to build a Trello board, why don't you hit me up on the contact link and through Vaxpreneur, and maybe that's something I need to do a whole special session on. But I wanted to give you an idea of, like, how do you log the idea? How do you track that idea, right? And now we want to talk about how to develop that idea. So the next session that we will be talking about will be like, okay, you've had the idea, you got a name for it, you've reserved the name, okay? Now what's next? And I want to walk you guys. It seems like maybe this is developing too slowly for some people. It seems like maybe I'm dragging this out, but I know that there's people out there, especially in this particular audience, the cause for Vaxpreneur in the first place, that will find value in breaking this down as simply as possible and helping you work your way through the steps. So bear with me. We're going to get into, over the next few sessions, we're going to talk about the different tools. We'll talk about, Slack and Trello. I'll do a screen share and show you how to reserve a URL for people that aren't familiar with how to do that. I'll show you how to do that in a screen, how to reserve it, how to assign that URL, right? So let's say I want to develop a WordPress website on that URL. I'll show you how to assign that and how to install that first instance of WordPress into your website. And whether you're blogging or, selling tickets to something or selling product, it's really, really important to know how to get started. And so I want to show you how to get started. Once you get into WordPress, there are so many options and so many tools out there. And I want to slow things down from the very beginning. I've been around for a long time. I've built hundreds of websites. I've worked in WordPress for a long time. It is so easy for someone new in the WordPress environment to just get sucked in, and for people to go, oh, well, you need this plugin, you need that plugin, this is a premium plugin, go ahead and get this. This is $500, this is $600, this is $1,000, this is $12,000, this is, and I'm not joking, it's out there. And so I really want to implore you, slow down, take a look at what your needs really are. Remember that term, proof of concept. I have access to software like you wouldn't believe, plugins that I've used on other projects that I have open licenses for to use on other projects. And I can take almost any idea and, make an awesome website with all kinds of function in it. But if the proof of concept isn't there to show the need for that tool, then why use the tool? Why leverage something I don't need? Why overly complicate something that doesn't need to be overly complicated? And these are the things that I want to bring to this conversation as we develop things. Maybe it's week after week, maybe it's month after month. Vaxpreneur is still new. I'm not sure what the demands are going to be, but I want to make sure that we slow things down and that I don't have people come into Vaxpreneur and because of me or my talking, get excited and then spend themselves into bankruptcy. That's not what I want to see happen. Remember, the whole idea of Vaxpreneur is to give you options to find another revenue stream, not an expense stream, okay? So stick with me, and I promise you, this is gonna get more and more interesting as we begin to look at more and more tools and how to promote your newest idea. Now, that said, there's a couple of things I do wanna show you. It wouldn't be, I got it in my best interest, show off a couple of things. One is, where are we? I think it's this screen right here. Look at that. So we'll go here Now, I'll wait for this to go up. Mañana No Mas is an online academy. So Mañana No Mas is remember I said my umbrella, right? So if we look at the main site to Mañana No Mas, this is where the entertainment is, okay? The main site to Mañana No Mas is different blog posts, different podcasts that you'll see. I have things broken into categories, right? So, is it about writing books? Is it about building business? Is it, about fitness? Is it about faith? Is it about family? I've got all these things. Now, Mañana No Mas is a website that's been out 15 years, maybe longer. So there's a lot of content in there. In the Academy, which you'll click right in the middle of the main menu, the Academy takes you to our online academy that has a lot of courses. Now, these courses are meant for personal development and fitness. And I personally believe that fitness is directly tied to personal development. So let me close the chat window. We'll see here, we've got, 5-day course for healthy success after the challenge. Challenge is about losing weight, right? So it's like, how do you maintain weight loss after the weight loss, right? How to have goals and chase after those goals, how to build a successful team, how to lose weight with keto, it's right there. Fitness on how to, getting started with bicycling, embracing the process. This is one of my foundational courses. I left it in here at no charge. People can take this course for free. And I really encourage people that are new to the entrepreneur lifestyle that they take the Embrace the Process course. I believe it's about believing in yourself, right? Goal setting. I've got 2 different goal courses. One's long-term. This one goes all year long. And then this one is down and dirty, get you done quick. Okay. It depends on your learning style and how deep you want to go. I've got laser targeted marketing. I just discounted this course like crazy because there's some outdated stuff in it, but it doesn't mean it's worthless, right? So I discounted it like crazy, and I'm giving people access to all that. Journaling is a big thing for me, so I got a journaling course, and then there's just all kinds of stuff, right? And so Mañana No Mas is one of our properties. 2 of our biggest projects, Power Sport Academy, Challenge Connection. The Power Sport Academy is for motorcycle dealership owners. I'm kind of a nutcase when it comes to power sports, so I train power sport companies directly, right? We're having a Black Friday sale right now. It's 25% off, and I'm doing the same 25% off with the Challenge Connection. So if everything I said to you sounded kind of interesting with the challenges, like running online challenges and being off of Facebook and being in control of your own environment, you probably want to take a look at going to the Challenge Connection. At the bottom, it says get the deal. You can just click right on that, and that'll get you the 25% off to get you started on your online challenge. But I got to say, if you came to this session and you're not sure what your business is yet, or you haven't gotten a name yet, or you don't have a core message yet, you might not want to start a challenge yet. Okay. But if you want to take advantage of the 25% off during the month of November, get in touch with me through the contact link on Vaxpreneur. And, I'll figure out a way for you to take advantage of the 25% off, but postpone your challenge until you're ready to launch it, if that makes sense. Folks, I think that nails it. It is 10:59. That puts us right at the hour. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you if you're seeing this on the replay. If you are watching this, send me a message. And you don't have to do it publicly on all the social feeds where this will get redone. Send me something through one of the websites, through Vaxpreneur on the contact link, through Mañana No Mas on the contact link, and let me know your position. Are you recently unemployed? Are you facing unemployment? Is it a vaccination decision? Share with me on that, again, privately, and something we can reach out to each other on, maybe build a connection through. Folks, I love you. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.